Who won and who lost the NBA draft? Let's talk about it. Welcome in or welcome back. Now that we've had a couple days to let the chips fall for the NBA draft and all the trades shake out, I want to go through each team and kind of analyze what they did and how they could be better. Instead of making 30 individual videos, we're going to break it down by division. We're going to start out west and end up east. Small disclaimer before we start here. I am going to assume that every player makes the roster that they are currently on, because if they don't, what's the point of talking about them? And today I want to start it with the Pacific Division. I think that not only are they the most popular division in the entire NBA, I think a lot of different parts were moving for the NBA draft, and it could be very interesting this season. Let's get the boring team out of the way and talk about the Los Angeles Lakers first. With the 36th pick in this year's draft, they selected Adu Thoreau out of Arkansas. And this is really low risk, high reward, in my opinion, for them. He was a 3-year guy in college. He spent 2 years at the University of Kentucky and then the last year at Arkansas. He isn't a great three-point shooter, but what he lacks in that department, he makes up for in athleticism. He's probably one of the top 5 athletes in this entire draft. Like I said, his shooting isn't great. He shot about 28% for his entire career, but I think he has the defensive tools to kind of make up for that. I wouldn't suggest he play a ton of minutes on this Lakers team that is trying to win championships with LeBron and Luka, but I'd have to imagine that he gets a lot of burn in the G League, and when they need him, they will call his number. Same town, different team. We're talking about the Clippers now. At the number 30 spot, they picked up Giannis Niederhauser, and at number 50, they picked up Kobe Sanders. I think when teams are drafting that late at the end of the first round and that late at the end of the second round, the young college athlete doesn't necessarily matter anymore, and you can see that in these two draft picks. Giannis was a junior in college and Kobe Sanders was a senior. For Giannis, it's pretty easy to see why the Clippers picked him up. He averaged almost 2.5 blocks for Penn State last year, and while he is going to be older, both him and Kobe are going to be 23 by the time the season starts, I do still think that having that good defensive line is going to be great for a team, and he could be a very good lob threat as well. For Kobe, I'd have to imagine that he spends a lot of time in the G League as well. I think he's an okay scorer. He averaged about 16 points per game last year, and he has league efficiency shooting. He's shooting about 34% from three. And if you're going to make this Clippers team, if you're going to be the size that he is, you need to be able to shoot the three. I think he could get there. I think his mechanics look good, but it's going to be an uphill battle for him. The Golden State Warriors didn't work very hard on draft day. They had the number 52 pick where they picked up Alex Tui and the number 56 pick with Will Richard out of Florida. I can't say a whole lot about Alex. He is kind of billed as this do-it-all forward. He's 6'8". He can handle the rock a little bit. You want him to be that Swiss Army knife for you, and I would like to see that work out for them eventually. I'm just not sure that it will. And with Will Richard, I think that he's very much the quintessential glue guy for that team. He averaged 14, 5, almost 2 steals a game last year for the Florida Gators on the way to them winning a national championship. And when you have an organization like the Golden State Warriors, where you're trying to build that winning culture and add on to it like you already have, you need players like this. You need winning players to add on to your winning organization. And I think for as much value as you could possibly get out of the 56th pick in the draft, that was really good value. The Sacramento Kings worked pretty hard to get into this draft. Now, their selections were kind of confusing to me, I won't lie, only because they have so many forwards. Of course, you have DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and Keegan Murray, but now you're adding Nate Clifford, who I think is a very good player. Averaged about 19, 10, and 5 last year. I think that's very good value. You need those kind of guys, again, like a Swiss Army knife on your team. I think there's just a log jam for them at that spot, so I'm really interested to see how he ends up playing. For the 42nd pick, Maxime Renaud, I want to have high hopes for him. I really just don't see it. Last year, he averaged 20 and 10, which, again, is very good, but the college game is not the same thing as the NBA game. What you're looking for him to do in the NBA is be a rim runner, be a shot blocker, and he only averaged 1.5 blocks a game last year as a 7-footer. I just don't know if that's going to get it done at this level. The one saving grace for him, I think, is that he shot nearly 35% on about 5 attempts a game. And while that isn't amazing, that's not a Karl Anthony Towns level kind of production, I think that that could be something that allows him to get minutes in the NBA. But when he was projected to be a first-round pick this year and he fell all the way to 42, it raises some questions for me. And then lastly, the most interesting team for this division for me is the Phoenix Suns. After the Kevin Durant trade, getting in Jalen Green, getting in Dillon Brooks, trying to retool around Devin Booker, I was really interested to see how they were going to approach this draft. And while some of their moves confused me, I can't sit here and pretend like I'm not impressed that they were trying their best. They were making moves maybe in the sense of just trying to make moves, but even at that point, you have to appreciate that they are trying. They get the number 10 pick back in that Kevin Durant deal, and they selected Kaman Malawach, which I think is great. I think he's a good rim runner. I think he is a great defender. I think he's an underrated passer, especially in that high post offense. There are things to like about his game. It's just when you combine that with the Nick Richards that you already had, and then you go and trade for Mark Williams, I don't know what they're cooking over there. It seems like too many players in that position that you just spent a lottery pick on. Now, again, just to be clear, I don't think that the decision to pick Kaman Malawach at 10 was a bad idea. It's just the ancillary trades and pieces that you have outside of that. Other than that, if it was just Kaman Malawach and you didn't have Nick Richards, or even if you had just him or Mark Williams, I think this would be a very good idea. I'm just a little confused. They did make up for it at 31 with Rasheer Fleming. I think that he was very good. I was eyeing him at 32 for the Celtics. We obviously weren't able to do that, but he was a great three-point shooter. Shot 39% from three last year. And then on top of that, you add Kobe Beret. He's a 5-year guy, so I understand a little bit of hesitancy to want to draft someone like that. But over his 5-year career, he averaged 43% from three on like 6 attempts a game. I think this season, because of all the trades, Devin Booker is going to again have to take on that traditional point guard role. I think he still obviously has the ability to get downhill and get into that mid-range game. When he gets going like that, it is going to open up the offense for everybody else. And if you can surround him with those guys like the lob threat and Kaman Malawach, like the three-point shooters in Rasheer Fleming and Kobe Beret, I think that could be a very good Suns offense. It's probably not going to be as aesthetically pleasing as the Kevin Durant Suns, but when you make this big of a trade, to be in this good of a position is all you can really ask for. And that's the Pacific Division. We've got 5 more to go. Be sure to tune in. Your team will be coming next. Who do you think won the draft in this division? I personally think it's the Suns, despite how confusing they were, but you let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, check my description. I've got a link tree where you can find me everywhere. I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky and YouTube here, obviously, and Instagram and TikTok. I'm all the places. But that's going to do it for me. Be kind, tell somebody you love them, and I'll see you in the next one.